So it's 9 p.m. on the 3rd of January 2020, and I decided to make another game. Last time I tried to make a game really quickly, I made Prison Planet, and it took 7 weeks. That was not the intention. It was supposed to take a few days or something. So I decided to try again, but just for fun, really. Like, if I can't get this done by the end of the weekend, at least to a reasonable extent, then it will just go on the shelf and I'll come back to it another time. I was kind of inspired this morning by a simple idea, so I'm going to try and make it. The goal is that this time tomorrow it will be sort of playable, and then 48 hours after that, 24 hours after that, we'll have some sort of loop in properly with like menus and things like that. So yeah, what do we do when we make a project? This is my empty project. I have a lot of libraries that go into a project. So TRC helper, it's like a thing that pops up little messages. It doesn't get used very much, but it's there as a fallback. So if anything in the game wants to like print a message to the player, it can. It also does things for consoles, like if you disconnect your controller, it will tell people that kind of stuff. Spring IAP above it, that does our in-app purchases and has all the server stuff in it. It also like has a save component, so that in theory, if you don't get your stuff because our server's down or something, it will save those purchases you made and it will try them again later and things like that. Spring advert, yep, pretty self-explanatory, plays adverts. Spring UI, that's a thing that pops up the graphics so you can sign in and do your cloud save and all that kind of stuff. These are all server related things. The social is your Facebook and your friends, and it has a bunch of stuff in it that's really powerful, but we barely use because we haven't really hooked it up. The idea behind these libraries is that as we write more things and get kind of more comfortable with linking it all together, it becomes easier and easier to make things work. So for example, writing a server function shouldn't be that difficult because of all the work that's gone into building these libraries. SEngine, that's the engine that I use. So, I mean, we use XNA, so really that's the engine, but this is like a bunch of stuff on top of that, you know. So we have our own font system that we use, that we wrote. We have, I don't know, localization is in here and stuff like that, so you can do the translations. I have a bunch of like math stuff that helps me out, file loading, all that kind of stuff. Content directory, that's a standard XNA thing, so that's got my graphics in it. And then here's the code, and here's analytics wrapper, which does all the kind of analytics things. So the game is going to be called Dungeons and Fates, which amazingly is a name that has not been taken, despite every generic RPG name on Earth having been used. I managed to find one. It's like looking for a crack in the pavement, and you find some like generic name that's like interesting enough, you know. I might call it Fates and Dungeons instead. I don't know. So I have a template project, and that's what all this code comes from. And so when I build a new game, I basically have to reference all the libraries, and I copy the template across. I rename the namespace to match the game, so Dungeons and Fates, and then I reference all the assets and stuff. So all this code is about 7 years worth of work, really. And it makes our lives easy, but when I run the game, so this is what a project looks like when I start running it. It takes me about 15 minutes to make an empty project. It does that and that. Wow, so all that code, probably like 500,000 lines of code or something, does that. It's amazing, isn't it? I think I can rotate the screen. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, let's see, maybe in an hour I'll make another video and there'll be something on screen. Maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, I don't know. But the goal is that tomorrow, 24 hours time, I have a kind of playable version of the game, and then 24 hours after that I've kind of built menus and things like that around it. If it takes any longer, then I have to stop, but it's interesting to just see if I can actually get something done really fast and not have it drift into months like every other game that we seem to make. So yeah, Prison Planet, as I probably mentioned, was supposed to be done in a week or so, and it took 7 weeks. So let's see if I can make a game faster than that. A lot faster, crazy faster. But I'll probably just fall asleep in an hour and give up, and tomorrow I'll never try again. Anyway, there you go. How exciting.